Welcome to the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's director of simulcasting, Jim Goodman, our post-Derby edition. But salutations and salute to you for being on California Chrome. I took a stand against the favorite, but you were on him, and rightly so.
Well, I apologized all week for picking the favorite, but he was just so much the best. It was unbelievable. He got a perfect trip. Nobody else ran out there and ran a suicidal pace, and he just took advantage of the casual pace and was much better than those horses. And I think that he'll probably prove he's that good in the Preakness as well.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right. I ended up having a good day. I think I liked Midnight Lucky and hit the exacta there. But Central Banker was my good one that I had for the day, which was a nice pay. So we had a few winners over the course of the weekend, and hopefully we'll have a few more today as we start with the Saturday card down at Churchill Downs, and their features the ungraded, unbridled Sydney on the turf, 5 furlongs for fillies and mares 3 and up, and got some horses that came out of the race at Keeneland for these types of horses. Sweet Cassiopeia probably figures to go favorite here off, I think, a third-place finish at Keeneland. Where did you land?
Yeah, I think so. The Giants Causeway is the key race that I'm handicapping this race off, and Sweet Cassiopeia is probably going to be the favorite, but I'm going to take a stand against her with Saturday in the Park, who didn't run that great but had a terrible start. They rushed up to the lead and got, just kind of gave up at the end, got beat by 5 3/4, but was right there at the half in 45 3. And I think she'll get a better trip here. Robbie Alvarado rides her back, and Tevis McCauley is training. If you look at the daily racing form, he's 39% first-time trainer with Tevis McCauley, and he took a horse named Purely Hot, a filly that didn't run a step at Keeneland and won $150,000 stakes last week at Woodbine.
Ooh.
So Tevis is a nice little trainer, and I think he's got a shot here with Saturday in the Park. I'm going to take her on top with Sweet Cassiopeia, the 7, and the other horse I'm going to use Point to the Wild out of that same race. So I'm going to key that race basically with 1, 7, with 3, with all, and then flip them a little bit. But I'm going to take as my best price Saturday in the Park.
Point to the Wild for me, coming out, I guess, as you said, the same race. This horse really seems to have blossomed since moving into Brad Cox's barn and getting into these turf sprints. She had some trouble last time, too, and really finished strong down along the rails. So I think this horse is dangerous in here at maybe a decent price. I think Sweet Cassiopeia may have lost a step from her best form, and so I hope she's the favorite because I think they can beat her. So I'll take Point to the Wild, use her with To My Valentine, good speed coming out of that Giants Causeway. That's the 5. The 3's Point to the Wild. I'll use the 4 Costly just because she loves this turf course, and the 7 Sweet Cassiopeia. And I'll probably go back and use yours as well. I'm going to go back and look at that race, but that you make a good case for Saturday in the Park, so I'll put her in probably keys with my 3 horse that I like. Let's go to Belmont, and the possible Belmont Stakes prep here with the Grade 2 Peter Pan, 3-year-olds going 1 mile and an 1/8. That's a 1-turn race at Belmont. Got Tonalist, who figures to probably be the favorite in here, coming out of some real good races down in Florida. Got a couple of pletchers. I'm going to take one of them, Matterhorn, who's the bigger price. The horse had trouble in its last 2. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of speed in here coming off the rail. I think this horse can secure a nice spot. And this horse is working a little faster than pletchers normally work, which maybe signals that he's ready to fire. So I'm going to try Matterhorn. Really like the 6-1 morning line price, and I think you'll probably get close to that. And I'll use him with Tonalist, the 4, and with Fabulous Kid, the 2. What about you?
Yeah, this is a tough little race because the Peter Pan always gets horses that aren't good enough on the Triple Crown Trail or getting better at the right time and weren't good enough to get in the Derby. So they're looking for something down the road. It's a nice $200,000 purse. And I like the horse in here called Our Caravan coming out of the Calder Derby.
Yeah,
won by 9
impressive.
3/4. I mean, really got good at the right time and won that race so easily. It's unbelievable. And the horse went off at 82-1 in the Fountain of Youth and never had a shot. But they put him back where he can run, and he's getting better. He got a buyer progression from 72 to 86. So he takes one more step up. He's in the 90s with these better horses in here. So I'm going to take him on top. He beat Ring Weekend, which is a pretty nice horse. And Tonalist is my second choice, ran behind what would have been a Derby contender if he hadn't gotten hurt his constitution last out at Gulfstream Park. He also beat Global Strike the second time back. So Tonalist is my second choice. And I would take commissioner, who's another horse who's a good example of. They threw him into the Arkansas Derby. Went off at 6-1 in the Arkansas Derby, and Danza, Right On Curlin, and Van Aaron all blew him away. But he never really got. He had a tough trip. He just never was in the race, and I'm going to give him another shot here. So, Our Caravan, the 6, over Toneless, the 4, and Commissioner of the 3. I'm sorry.
Monmouth Park is the 11th race, the Decathlon Stakes for 3-year-olds and up at 6 furlongs, and got just those tough old sprinters in here. Who did you land on?
I like Rebo Bobo. I tossed the last race, and if you go back out of his 2013 and 2014, he was 12 for 13. Any horse that does that, he's gonna get my money again. So he was 10 for 11 in 2013. He won his first 2 starts for 2014, and then threw a clunker in the Sir Shackleton last time out at 8-5. But I'm going to give him another shot and say that he's probably the best of this bunch. But it's a nice race. It's a good betting race. So I'm going to take 10 on top. Candyman E regressed last time out in the Tom Fool, but 2 starts back won the Toboggan, which is a grade 3, which is a much better race than what this is coming up. So I'm going to give Candyman E another chance as well. So I'm going to take those 2 to bounce back. And Joe Tess, the other horse in here that's a lightly raced, only been out 5 times lifetime, but ran a 93 buyer last time at Tampa. So Rio Bobo for me, the 10 horse over 1 and 4 with probably everything else in the trifecta.
Didn't have a strong opinion here. Ended up going to Candyman E mainly because Joe Bravo rides. He's Jersey Joe. Jacobson brings this horse in and gets Joe Bravo in the saddle. So just off that angle, I'm going to take Candyman E. Also 10 wins from 22 lifetime starts, so he knows his way to the winner's circle. I'm going to use him with Javert, the 2, Party All Night Long, the 6, and Be Bullish, the 9, keying around Candyman E, the 1 horse in Exactas. Santa Anita's 7th race is the grade 3 Las Barrera for 3-year-olds at 7 furlongs. And horse I think you picked in the race where he shipped across to New York, Kobe's back. I'm going for it here. I'm a little leery of coming from off the pace in here, but this horse has a class edge, working well. And the thing I like was his best race of his life was at Santa Anita at 7 furlongs, which is what this is. So Kobe's back, the 3 horse, is my pick to win it. And I'm going to use him with a couple of up-and-comers who are coming off just had a couple of lifetime starts. The 4, Chelios, the 5, 20%. But the key horse for me is Kobe's back, number 3. What about you?
I agree with you. Kobe's back was my pick in the Bayshore, and he just barely got beat by Coup de Gras, which is a nice horse. And he comes back. He's had a lot of frequent flyer miles. They shipped him from Santa Anita to the Rebel to try to get him in the Derby, and then they shipped him on to Aqueduct and almost got a win. I think he comes back home and gets a win here. I'm going to take him on top with an unknown, Tanito M. Been running at Camarero and 6 for 7, but who knows how good he is. But Jerry Hollendorfer's a trainer, so that's good enough for me. And Ferocious could be a price. It could be a decent price, and also could be a nice horse. Only been out 3 times for Ron Ellis. So I'm going to take Kobe's back, the 3 on top of the 1 and 2.
Woodbine will be our last stop for the Fury Stakes. It's their 8th race. 3-year-olds, Canadian breds, going 7 furlongs. And I went with Lexi Lou in here. All 3 of her wins have been at Woodbine, moving into the Cassie barn, which is never a bad place to be. And several of these are only coming off maiden wins. So I'm going to try Lexi Lou for the win, key her in Exactas with the 6 Wild Catamine and the 4 Coastal Dawn. How'd you see the Fury Stakes?
I like Lexi Lou, but I like Hot and Spicy a little bit better. The 1 horse for James Bond comes off a turf win at Gulfstream, but she's out of Tail of the Cat, and Tail of the Cat is a great polytrack sire. So all you got to do is look back at Keeneland results, and you see Tail of the Cat all the way through the winner's circle at Keeneland. So I'm going to say that she's going to like the poly and shipping back to Woodbine, and 7 furlongs ought to be right up her alley. She went 7.5 pretty easily last time. Lexi Lou is my second choice to 7. The other horse, Wild Catamine from Mark Cassie, maiden winner at this distance at Woodbine, so probably ought to run good again. But Hot and Spicy, the 1 horse, is my pick in the Fury Stakes at Woodbine.
We will have a whole bunch of stakes races to talk about next weekend because it'll be Preakness weekend, and so we'll be focusing in on the Grade 1 Preakness as well as all the other big stakes up at Pimlico and a few others around the country. I know you guys have some special programs on Friday evenings out at Keeneland simulcasting, right?
We do. We're starting. We're not going to do anything in May. We've got a little bit of an unknown situation coming up because we're going to start our construction here on the dirt track on May 19th. So we don't know what's going to happen with a little bit of dust and confusion and construction, but it's all going to be good by the fall. And so we're not going to do a Friday night happy hour in May, but we're going to start that in June. We do have Friday night and racing all the way through Santa Anita this Friday. It's post time of 6 o'clock. So we go to about 9:30 with the California races. We just moved to the equestrian room from the second floor at Keeneland Simulcasting. So we're down on the first floor at the track. It's a beautiful dining area and brats and brew outside. We've got some new flat screen TVs. The terrace is nice in the summertime. So we've relocated simulcasting, and we'd love to have people come out. If you can't bet on Keeneland Select, we'd love to have you at the racetrack on Friday and Saturday, and then Preakness is next weekend. Of course, we'll have the entire facility.
Kind of shady down there on the turf, and it's a nice spot on a Friday evening to bet a few races and hang out and have some good fun with some friends.
It is.
We're going to be back here again next week for all those stakes races, so keep it tuned for the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.